What's up guys, what's going on everybody? Chris Anthony here, welcome to the channel. I just wanted to do a bench video and officially introduce this buggy to the channel. I have the Arrma Typhon 3S BLX here on the bench. This thing is a little bit hard to find right now because I think it's on back ordered till mid-April, I believe. I just happened to find one sitting on a shelf in one of my local hobby shop here around my area, and it's my very first buggy, so I'm really excited about it. And I think I got a good one here with the Typhon 3S BLX. So I just want to go through my setup here. I'm gonna tell you guys what I like, what I don't like, and some of the changes that I did to this buggy to kind of fits my driving style. First, the design. I really love the design of this buggy. Pretty similar to the 6S version, but for some reason I prefer the look of this over the 6S version Typhon. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's brand new, it's fresh, but I really like the look of this over the 6S version Typhon. Really like the newly designed wing right here. It looks pretty awesome. Other thing I like about this is the simplicity of the layout. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, this thing looks pretty simple but functional. I think this modular design that Arrma is going for with this 3S lineup, I think it's pretty awesome. I think it works perfectly on these trucks. I mean, it makes it easier to work on the truck. I mean, I already did some work on this. It just make it easier to do maintenance, so I really like that. So simple layout, very easy to maintain, very easy to work on. So I think that's a huge plus. Who doesn't want an RC that's a little bit easier to work on, right? So I think Arrma nailed it with this layout, the simplicity of the layout. So I really like that. So this buggy shares the same parts and component with the other 3S truck, like the Typhon, the Granite, and the Big Rock. The same chassis and everything, but this one's a little bit special because it came out to be an 8 scale instead of a 10 scale, and that's very important to me because I prefer it to be an 8 scale, and since it's an 8 scale, it comes with a 17mm hex, which is very important. That means gives you plenty of good tire option out there, because I know with the other 3S trucks, they are 10 scale, so a lot of people found themselves converting it to a 17mm hex, so they can mount a better 8 scale tires on their truck. So you don't have to do that here since it comes with a 17mm hex, so that's very important to me. So speaking of parts, I mean, this truck shares the same parts and component with the other 3S trucks, so that means it's a lot easier to find parts. Right now it's a little bit hard to find parts for this because it's relatively new, so it's gonna take probably 4 to 5 months for Arrma to you know, catch up with the demands in terms of replacement parts. So the same thing with their 8 scale lineup. I mean, they have almost the same parts and components, and it just makes it easier to find parts, you know what I mean? And speaking of parts, I love the affordability of the parts of this 3S lineup. I mean, they are affordable, they're not expensive, they're not cheap either, but it's affordable, and that's what you want, you know, because a lot of RC companies out there, they jacked up all their replacement parts, and I think Arrma really nailed it with just about everything with this 3S lineup here. So hats off to them. I mean, Arrma is really killing it with the 8 scale, now with the 3S lineup. So one thing that I don't like about this, it's not on Arrma's part, but it's more on Horizon Heavy's part, is the connector that comes with it. I mean, Arrma usually uses XT90, but for some reason the 3S lineup came with an EC5 connector. I mean, it's a great connector, but I use XT90 for all my trucks and all my batteries and stuff. So I think that's more on Horizon Heavy trying to make their presence known with their other RC manufacturer that is under their umbrella. So I mean, not really a big deal. I mean, like I said, it's a great connector, but just a bummer that I don't use an EC5. So so that leads me to my first change to this truck, and I was gonna cut that EC5 and solder me XT90. So what I did is I went ahead and replaced the whole ESC instead. Just happened to have another heavy wing ESC. This is a 100 amp ESC, but it's rated for 3S and 4S. This is a lot bigger than the stock ESC that came with the truck. and because I'm gonna be running this on 4S instead of 3S. And the other change that I did is I swapped the motor because I could not find any documentation that the stock motor is 4S capable. It maybe is, but I'm not sure. You guys can let me know in the comments below. So I went ahead and swapped it with the BLX 185 2050 kV motor, and it fits perfectly on here if you guys want to do that. I was able to fit everything on here on this side. Like I said, it looks a little bit cramped, but there's a little bit of space there between my ESC and the motor, so I think everything looks good there. And I was able to fit a 19 tooth pinion in there, so that's pretty awesome. As you can see, guys, it's a little bit dirty because I did some testing on this setup a couple hours ago, and everything seems to be running fine on 4S. I mean, this thing is crazy fast on 4S with that 19 tooth. I wasn't able to clock it because I didn't have a GPS strap on the truck, but I have a GPS right here now, so I'm gonna go again and clock that speed and see what kind of numbers we can get from this setup here. But like I said, running this on 4S and 19 tooth, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And the other thing I did is I put Hicks extender on here. I used the Red Cat 17mm Hicks extender just to give me a little bit of wider stance for better stability and better handling. So there you have it, guys. That's about it. Really liking this Typhon 3S BLX here. I think it looks awesome. Plenty of speed even with just the stock electronics, but with my setup here, I think it's a lot more speed that I can get compared to the stock system that I used to have two Talion in the past. One I used just mainly for street runs, speed runs and all that stuff, and the other one I used for bashing. But since I converted one of my Talion to Notorious, I started bringing my other Talion to the track because I miss bashing my Talion in the track. I miss seeing it fly and doing backflips and everything. So I don't really have any dedicated street runner anymore. So this Typhon right here is probably my dedicated speed runner from now on. I'm just probably mainly going to run this on the street or open parking lot, do some drifting and all that stuff. So that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really love this Typhon that I have here. It's my very first buggy, like I said, so I will have a running video of this pretty soon. Whew. I was able to squeeze full throttle there for a second. Oh, dang it. Alright, guys, that was 69. Not bad. Not bad.